Starting off with number 10, using Harry for status. Piers Morgan, a morning show host, has been one of Meghan's most outspoken critics, claiming that when she started dating Harry, she dumped him as a friend. I'm assuming he mixed up friend with acquaintance. In any case, there was a tweet mentioning Harry and Meghan parting ways in January and saying Meghan used him to get to the top. People say that I'm being too harsh on Meghan Markle. However, she broke up with her parents, the majority of her old friends, the royal family, and her family. She additionally split William from Harry. Piers also referred to them as a pair of impulsive, deluded, narcissistic tools. Following their announcement that there would be no further corroboration and zero engagement between them and the 4 UK tabloids, Morgan also forbade Harry and Meghan from being discussed on Good Morning Britain. On to number 9, using Harry for money. The engagement interview between Meghan and Harry was broadcast by numerous networks worldwide. When Sky News in Britain broadcasted live, comments began to pour in, and not all of them wished the couple well. In point of fact, numerous insults were leveled against Meghan, accusing her of being in it for the money. One person even wrote she sees British pound signs, while another wrote she won the lottery. According to the Daily Mail, when Meghan and Harry announced the name and details of their new foundation, they hadn't finished registering for their website, so someone else took it. Additionally, that individual did something awful. The Sussexes provided the Telegraph with a few specifics regarding the foundation. The Greek word for source of action, arch, came before Sussex Royal. We were inspired to name our son after this concept for the charitable organization we hoped to establish one day. An obvious insult to Meghan was the fact that a hacker registered archwellfoundation.com and redirected it to a YouTube video of Kanye West's Gold Digger. Number 8, Mad Meghan. Meghan and Harry's whirlwind romance has been in the spotlight pretty much since they got together. With fans and haters watching their every move, this couple is used to getting lots of attention whether they like it or not. When Harry got with Meghan, people started watching Meghan like a hawk, dissecting her every move. Naturally, when you're part of the royals, people are going to be more inclined to know what you're like. As someone part of the royal family, displaying strong emotions is not necessarily expected, especially in a public setting. After being invited as a guest speaker at the Power of Women charity benefit, Meghan seemed irritated after pictures of her were published where she was seen lashing out at an employee in the parking garage. The pictures published in the Daily Mail show her looking pretty ticked off while pointing directly at someone. Some believe she was scolding one of her employees, while others say she was letting a parking attendant have it. As a person, I feel like keeping your cool in inconvenient situations is pretty important, but as a royal, I think Meghan should have been a little more mindful of her position and the amount of eyes on her. But hey, there's always more to a story, right? And it's hard to figure out with pictures out of context. Number 7, Mad Meghan Part 2. Meghan was accused of abrasive behavior towards staff members and diplomats, according to an explosive royal biography. Looking back at the Sussexes' visit to Sydney, Australia, where they received an amazing reception, Bauer writes, Meghan was allegedly abrasive towards her 4 female staff and even towards the local British diplomats. According to one report, Meghan allegedly threw a cup of tea into the air. Not the tea. He continued by saying that her anger may have been partly fueled by Harry. Every night he trawled social media searching for snide comments on the internet. I don't know why they would do that. Every morning he and Meghan turned on their phones to surf the internet. That doesn't sound very healthy to me. Australia, as covered in past videos, didn't seem to be as fun as the couple may have hoped, and it's been reported they were feeling down in the down under. Good one, right? Number 6, secret studies. She studied in secret for a degree in international relations despite warnings about how her studies would be perceived by the royal family. But she was determined to prove her critics wrong and use her newfound knowledge for good. After graduating with distinction, she quickly rose in the ranks of governmental and diplomatic circles. Eventually, she became one of the most influential people in international affairs and a beloved figure around the world. Well, her legacy will continue to inspire generations to come. Today, when asked about her success, she simply shrugs it off. My success? She laughs. I just followed my heart and never gave up like any true princess would do. Indeed, that same determination still serves her well today as she continues to make an impact on the global stage. What a true fairy tale ending. The princess rise from adversity to become not only an international leader, but an inspiration too. Number 5, family dispute. Despite Harry's turbulent past, Meghan conceals a lot of the drama surrounding her own family and former friends. Her older half-brother Thomas Markle Jr. has stated that he is at his lowest point in life, and that his sister's fame has cost him his job in his home. I don't know how the two relate, but alright. After being evicted from his rental home in Grants Pass, Oregon, Markle Jr. is now living in a small hotel room with his fiancée, her son, and their 2 dogs. In an interview with The Sun, Markle Jr. stated that being referred to as Meghan's crazy brother has prevented him from finding a new residence or a job. Additionally, he attributed his demise to his sister's global fame. Sounds like a bum not taking accountability to me. In the past, the half-siblings have voiced their disapproval of Meghan in the media and asserted that she avoids family and friends when she believes they are of no use to her. Ouch. The relationship between Markle Jr. and his sister has been difficult for some time. Samantha and Markle Jr. have been called opportunists by Meghan's fans who want to profit from her fame. Honestly, it sounds like it. However, Markle Jr. claims that he's been living under a microscope ever since Meghan's engagement to Prince Harry in 2017, and that the negative attention brought on by his sister's fame has prevented him from finding employment or a new place to live. Despite the strained relationship between Meghan and her half-siblings, it is evident that the Duchess of Sussex's fame has had an impact on their lives and drawn both positive and negative attention to them. While Meghan, her husband, and their children reside in opulence in their new Montecito home, her brother is struggling to survive and locate a stable home. It's unknown whether Meghan and her half-siblings will ever reconcile and mend their relationship. In the new book, The Diary of Princess Pushy's Sister Part 1 by Samantha Markle, Meghan Markle's half-sister makes some controversial assertions regarding the Duchess of Sussex. Sam asserts that the royal is demanding, belittling, and controlling, and allegedly does not express gratitude to their father Thomas Markle for his financial assistance. Instead of expressing gratitude for the things she received from their father, Markle is alleged to have acted in a controlling manner. Despite the book's negative portrayal of Meghan and Prince Harry, Samantha claims that it was not written with the intention of attacking her sister or in-laws. It's important to remember that Samantha once made comments about her half-sister that made the news. She's spoken out in the media about her strained relationship with Meghan and made statements about the royal family that have generated controversy. However, it's unknown how much weight these most recent claims will carry in light of Samantha's previous actions. Despite this, it is abundantly clear that the Markle family has been the subject of some drama and controversy, and it appears that this most recent revelation will only serve to advance the story that is already taking place. Number 4, the codependent couple. Despite the royal family's take, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have attested to their seemingly fairy tale romance. In a 2018 interview with BBC, the couple sat down to talk about the origins of the relationship. However, thoughts about Harry and Meghan's possible codependent relationship has become a trending topic on Twitter, especially following the release of Harry and Meghan, their Netflix docuseries. One user tweeted, in part, "They have the most unhealthy codependent relationship I've ever seen." Another person wrote, "I suspect Harry has been literally transformed by what he believes is his intense love for Meghan," adding that he's completely codependent on her. So what will come of Harry and Meghan's future together? Even though we don't know the couple personally, do we think the relationship is based on codependency? Or is this just another case of people trying to determine their relationship with limited knowledge? Number 3, brainwashed prince. Prince Harry has been called an unintelligent man who has been brainwashed by his wife into a rift with the royal family. Royal expert Tom Bower made sensational comments against the Duke and Duchess of Sussex before the release of Prince Harry's bombshell memoir and the couple's Netflix docuseries. He said Harry is brainwashed would be the politest way of saying it, into going along with it. He thinks he has been badly treated, but there's no doubt they are a great threat to the royal family. Harry is a very complicated, depressed, unintelligent man, ouch, who is seeking a role and really has nobody on whom he could rely, which in the end is where Meghan stepped in. A needy man met a woman who helped him with his needs. The author also claimed that Prince Harry and Meghan were left angry as ever after allegedly being snubbed by the royals at Queen Elizabeth's funeral in September last year. On to number 2, playing victim. Prince Harry's newly formed and deeply damaging anti-royal beliefs are being peddled by Meghan Markle, according to some people, including royal author Tom Bower, who said this while talking to American journalist Megyn Kelly. He started by branding the American very clever and added, "Don't think for a moment that she's not convincing quite a lot of people that somehow she was thrown to the wolves." Of course, that's completely untrue. Right, because Bower would know more than Meghan, who was actually living living through this. But anyway, in the first 3 episodes, Harry comes out and says there's the leaking and planning of stories, and is getting ready to say in the next 3 episodes that the palace and its staff courtiers, whatever, were planning negative stories on him and her. If we look objectively at the couple since breaking away from the royal family, who has gotten the better end of the deal? Meghan Markle is living in her home country, in LA, pitching Hollywood decision makers, voicing Disney Plus documentaries, and positioning herself as a woke cultural voice. Prince Harry has given his family the cold shoulder, cut ties with his grandmother, father, and brother, and he's reportedly been depressed and feeling down. The high point might have been when he was filmed reading Thomas the Tank Engine. It doesn't take a genius to figure out who's benefiting. The final straw was watching Prince Harry throw his grandmother and all she's accomplished for the Commonwealth under the bus just to provide Meghan Markle with yet another cause to pursue. And if that wasn't enough, he made a complete fool of himself by showing his lack of knowledge on the matter. Seems to me like the Meghan haters are making it seem like it's Meghan's world and we're all just living in it. I'm not defending anyone, but making claims about situations you aren't a part of is very much giving fan behavior. And finally, on to number 1, Princess Diana 2.0. Apparently, Meghan always wanted one thing in life, and that's to become a member of the British royal family. Now, she's never confirmed that, but her friends say that she's always had a fascination with the royals. According to some sources, this was all a part of Meghan's plan. She's wanted to be a princess since she was a teenager. Her old pal once said she was always fascinated by the royal family and wanted to be Princess Diana 2.0. She will play her role ably, but my advice to Harry is to tread cautiously. I'm not shocked at all. It's like she's been planning this her whole life. She gets exactly what she wants, and Harry has fallen for her play. Talk about an awful friend for outing Meghan like that though, right?
At a number 10 spot, we have emotionally immature Prince. Prince Harry appears to be emotionally immature and does what other people want him to do rather than what he wants to do. Sure, he may have wanted to leave the royal family for a while, but can we talk about how he never actively chose to expose the family throughout any of his other romantic relationships? Only after meeting Meghan and feeling the need to protect his family did the prince decide to act on his desire. There may be reasons for this. Prince Harry might be driven to save Meghan because his mother, Princess Diana, couldn't be saved. Because of the negative feelings they have about the royal family and the increased publicity surrounding the book, the couple is seen as a codependent, which seems to be the driving force in their relationship. They heavily rely on their experiences in the royal household to make content for platforms that will provide them with income. Meghan's husband does not have a strong relationship with his family, and even though both parties are to blame, it has to be a red flag that they were okay with cutting ties with him and Meghan rather than coming to a compromise that would keep them both happy. Number 9, royal issues. Some might say Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are a dynamic duo. They have demonstrated resilience in the face of numerous family issues, but it seems as if it's important to understand what it can be a red flag if your partner's family does not like you. Sure, you might be the problem, but let's consider the history of the royal family. For one, more than one member of the family has had racist allegations against them. 2, Meghan is mixed race. And 3, when Harry wanted his family to speak about the injustices happening to Meghan, including harassment from the media outlets, they didn't take him seriously, which just sounds like the couple's feelings were invalidated even after Harry pointed out a lot of the harassment that has been done to Meghan's ethnicity. Yeah, red flag. I'm too sensitive to deal with this kind of stuff, so in a sense, it's totally understandable why Meghan left the royal household and stepped down from her royal duties. Number 8, selfish prince. Prince Harry wants the British and American publics to believe that the royal family, the palace as an institution, as it is known, and the British media have all conspired to destroy him and his family. This is a modern dystopian twist. He and Meghan Markle provide only hazy explanations for why and how. They are all based on claims that the monarchy is racist, but none specifically mention members of the royal family. Without the benefits of facts, evidence, and a trial or jury, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex blame the royal fallout on the family and think they should acknowledge that they are racist in every way, whether this is proven or not. Prince Harry is unable to comprehend the largely symbolic but very real role his father, King Charles, plays as the head of United Kingdom's military forces in light of the Commonwealth's growing political, economic, and military threat. Number 7, disapproval from the Queen. A lot of people question how healthy Harry and Meg's relationship is, even the late Queen Elizabeth. The Queen's assertion was that he is too in love with Meghan. Well, I want to say that better than Queen Liz's son, King Charles, who famously said whatever love means when asked if Diana and him were in love. That is definitely a worse reality, and look at how that relationship turned out. When she heard that Harry and Meghan were getting married, Queen Elizabeth II was truly delighted. However, she was under the impression that Harry was perhaps a little over in love with Meghan. because of how he blindly follows whatever she wants to do. And this is as far as she ever came to uttering the word against the new Duchess of Sussex. Was Queen Elizabeth implying that passionate love between the couple was eventually a red flag? I wouldn't be surprised, since a lot of the older gens of royals didn't seem to marry for love, but instead for fulfilling duties and social class. The older folk just wouldn't get it. But then again, the late queen might have been onto something, because the fact that Harry's relationship is now strained with his whole family make it seem that Meghan is the reason for that. Is Queen Elizabeth's assumption a red flag, or did she make some points? Let me know what you think in the comments. Number 6, codependent couple. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle has confirmed that their romance seems like something out of a fairy tale, despite the royal family's position. The couple talked about how they got together in an interview with BBC in 2018. Harry said, quote, "The fact that I fell in love with Meghan so incredibly quickly was confirmation to me that all the stars were aligned, everything was just perfect." However, particularly since the release of Harry and Meghan, speculation regarding the possibility of a codependent relationship between Harry and Meghan has emerged as a popular topic on Twitter. "They have the most unhealthy codependent relationship I've ever seen," was one user's tweet. "I suspect Harry is literally transformed from what he believes to be intense love for Meghan," another person wrote, adding completely codependent on her. Number 5, Oprah. As we all know, the infamous CBS special where Oprah interviewed the royal couple was filled with controversial statements, with some people even calling them out for lying, which isn't a new allegation either. The Netflix miniseries also had some spreading of misinformation, which we still don't understand why they felt was necessary. If you want to tell a story from your side, at least make it credible, or else people can't take it seriously. But anyway, Prince Harry exposed his own wife in the bombshell memoir and how she misled viewers in her interview with Oprah by trying to accuse Kate by making Meg cry, when she had also upset her royal sister-in-law by commenting on her baby brain because of her hormone. Number 4, inner dreams. The impact Harry's mother's passing had on him has been relevant for years. During the interview, he mentioned how he refused to accept she had gone for years. Staying in denial, Harry believed that this was part of a plan and she would eventually contact him and will come and join her. Denial, and assuming that she just wanted to disappear for a while. Cooper then said, quote, "You write in the book, I'd often say it to myself first thing in the morning. Maybe this is the day. Maybe this is the day that she's gonna reappear." And often before he woke up, Harry would see his mother in his dreams. In his memoir, Spare, Prince Harry recalls seeing his mother in his dreams and asking if it was really her. Prince Harry tells Bradby, quote, "I refer to it as a post-traumatic stress injury because I'm not a person with a disorder. I know I'm not." Number 3, royal family reveals. So far, the couple isn't exactly dishing out other royal members of the royal family, which is probably wise if they want to keep up with their relationships. But Harry did say there's pressure on the male royals to marry someone who will fit the mold of what a royal wife is expected to be, rather than choose the person they are destined to be with. Now, this may not come as a shock to many because of how important politics are within the royals, but I just can't imagine having to marry someone who is more fit for the family rather than a person you feel fit better into your own personal life. Harry really went against the grain and went searching for someone who he believed would fit into his life, and props to him for choosing different. He mentioned that some of their family members didn't feel sympathy for Meghan being hunted by paparazzi because their wives also had to go through that. Though Harry says Meghan's situation was different because of racism towards her, Harry needing to defend his wife from the chaos might also be attached to his bitterness because he's felt ever since seeing the toll the British press took on his mother back when she was alive. Number 2, formal family. Who would have thought it's not just an on-screen persona? Counting down to the 4th greatest reveal, we find out that the royals behave just as formally on-screen as they do when there are no cameras on them. So now I'm wondering, are they out here greeting each other with the royal wave every time they see each other? Meghan recalls a time when Prince William and Duchess Kate had come over and Meghan greeted them with a hug. She was in her own homes walking around barefoot with ripped jeans on. Isn't that insane? She didn't necessarily say it was an uncomfy greeting, but it was definitely insinuated the way she explained the encounter. She learned that the royals don't let their hair down and relax one behind closed doors. Number 1, Meghan's clumsy curtsy. The infamous curtsy part of the English culture is an odd thing to think about for people unfamiliar with English traditions. Meghan, being born and raised in America, was the same way until she found out she was supposed to curtsy when she was going to meet the Queen, which she found out was going to happen on her way there.
Starting off with number 10, her drinking problem. King Charles is said to be on high alert regarding Camilla's drinking issues, which have gotten him into a lot of trouble. Charles had already persuaded his late mother not to push him aside in favor of his son, Prince William, and beloved Kate, and began by describing some trust issues that exist between King Charles and Camilla. Camilla wasn't satisfied with the title of Princess Consort, which Charles had promised to her when they got married in 2005. She has always aspired to be queen. Her Majesty did not approve until Charles allegedly pulled out his ace card. This put Charles on red alert about Queen Camilla's excessive drinking. Before coming to a conclusion, the informant also stated he knows Camilla is a loose cannon who's fallen off the wagon many times before and caused him untold embarrassment. Number 9, Prince William's thoughts on her. Since their marriage, Camilla has remained a prominent member of the royal family. However, stepchildren Princes William and Harry have maintained strict boundaries regarding their relationship. Prince William allegedly has made it very clear that the new queen consort will never replace his late mother, Princess Diana. Camilla was very direct about how his children were with Camilla. William made it clear that Camilla is the wife of his father, but not a step-grandmother to his children. The royal couple's 3 children are aware that they have 2 grandfathers, but only 1 grandmother. Camilla had never assumed any responsibility for the children of the Cambridges, especially considering the closeness of Catherine's parents, Carol and Michael Middleton. Number 8, Prince Harry. In his recent memoir, Spare, Prince Harry's portrayal of his stepmother, Camilla, Queen Consort, is perhaps the most critical. Despite the fact that Charles and Camilla had been romantically involved on and off for decades, they got married even after Harry and William begged Charles to reconsider. Prince Harry has not forgotten that Princess Diana referred to Camilla as the 3rd person in her marriage. Harry once said that the tabloids had portrayed her as the villain. In their union, she was the 3rd person and needed to improve her appearance. The 2 brothers did not consider it necessary and thought it would do more harm than good. They still wanted their father to be happy, but they never expected them to get married. Harry stated because of the need for her to rehabilitate her image and the connections she was making within the British press that made her dangerous. Additionally, there was a clear willingness on both sides to exchange information. Harry claimed that Camilla and even his father used him or William to get better coverage in the tabloids for themselves. That's what you're gonna do if you're led to believe as a member of the family that being on the front page, having positive headlines and positive stories written about you is gonna improve your reputation or increase the chances of you being accepted as monarch by the British public, Harry stated. Number 7, public reaction. Camilla is unlikely to be forgiven for her role in the breakdown of the Wales marriage because of Diana's legacy, which has won her a new generation of admirers. In the early 90s, when Charles appeared to confirm rumors that he had been having an affair during an interview with Jonathan Dimbleby in 1994, Camilla became a person of interest to the British press. Charles stated that Camilla had been a friend for a very long time and will continue to be a friend for a very long time. The sovereign conceded to being dedicated to Diana just until his marriage had hopelessly separated. Diana herself stated on BBC's Panorama that there were 3 of us in the marriage, so it was a bit crowded. When confronted with the question of whether Camilla had been directly involved in the breakdown of her marriage in later 1996. According to Susanna Reid, host of Good Morning Britain, most people have forgotten about the breakdown of the marriage and they love her now, and the Queen has sort of anointed her future Queen consort. Royston shared his thoughts about how he doesn't think they have moved on. People in the 90s were on Diana's side in this dispute, and the younger generations that are growing up now feel the same way. But how do you feel about this? Let me know in the comments. Royston went on to say they adore Diana, her legacy, her humanitarian spirit, warmth, and kindness, and they believe she was essentially the victim of injustice. Royston came to the conclusion that people still have a problem with Charles marrying Diana and exposing her to the rigors of royal life at such a young age before having an affair with Camilla. Number 6, blindsided princes. It is said that Prince Harry and William were blindsided by their late grandmother's decision to approve of her title as Queen Consort. According to Christopher Anderson, a royal expert and author, the decision was a driving wedge within the royal family. Although it's said that William and Harry are now friendly with Camilla, Prince Charles, their father, has a long history of having an affair with her in the 80s and 90s while he was still married to their mother, Princess Diana. After they split in 1992 and divorced in 96, Charles and Camilla tied the knot in 2005 and Diana passed away in a car accident in 1997. According to Anderson, she was begrudgingly letting him do this, and one of the key elements was he promised Camilla would never be called Queen Consort. Her Majesty was miserable during Charles' second marriage ceremony. The late Queen was skeptical about Camilla when she married Charles, and the circumstances were certainly challenging. However, through her dedication and loyalty to the firm, she has more than proved to the family that she has what it takes. Camilla grew closer to Elizabeth, upped her game, and accepted additional responsibilities willingly. After the Queen's longtime husband and consort Prince Philip passed away, Anderson claims Charles was relentlessly pushing for Camilla to become Queen Consort. Anderson asserts Charles just wore her out on this too. Additionally, I believe that Charles has increased his efforts to demonstrate to the Queen he also requires a partner since Prince Philip's passing. Number 5, social media trolls. The hateful posts about Camilla on social media have caused royal accounts to stop accepting comments. Ouch. The majority, it appears, remain on Team Diana today, with Instagram comments saying Princess Diana forever or Camilla, you're hated by everyone. Following the Netflix series The Crown, a comment was made about how the Netflix television show is nothing more than just a show. 3 people, including the children, suffered as a result of Charles and Diana's arranged marriage. And although the television shows don't accurately depict history because they focus primarily on entertainment, the portrayal of her family may have given viewers a taste of what had been going on all along. Royal experts say the dislike of Camilla will always persist. She is without a doubt extremely valuable and contributes significantly, but also, of course, as the king's ideal partnership. However, a portion of the public will always dislike Camilla because the memory of Princess Diana will never completely go away. The issue here is that anything Diana related that appears in the media frequently triggers recollections of the past. Given Diana's return in the past, there will undoubtedly always be a segment of society that is far from in love with Camilla. Number 4 made it to the memoir. In Harry's memoir, Camilla makes the list of things he brings up. Harry may be subjected to pressure to reveal the identity of the individual who, according to him and Meghan, made racially insensitive remarks regarding the color of their son's skin. I haven't read the memoirs yet, so this could very well be the case right now. Burrell said Harry might feel the need to speak out about Camilla because she broke up his parents' marriage. He'll probably elaborate on how he felt following his mother's passing and the events after. The former royal staffer stated he's already said he enjoys the crown, which painted Camilla as the wicked stepmother in a way. Burrell also said that Harry's father would be livid if he said anything negative about Camilla. Number 3, other royals. Camilla was viewed negatively by the royals, but Diana was received with open arms. Camilla was not wanted by the royal family as its princess, and for one thing, she was thought to be an experienced woman, which made her a no-go for the royal family when it came to finding Prince Charles a wife. In addition, she was not thought to be sufficiently aristocratic to be a princess. The impact of Diana's passing. Commentators were almost unanimous in their belief that Charles would never marry Camilla even if she had been his love of his life, despite the national outrage and finger-pointing over Diana's passing. At the time, respondents to a television poll said that Charles should not become king if he married Camilla. After passing, one mourner said Camilla should leave the country as she laid flowers outside the princess's house. None of this would have happened without the mistress. The public seemed to point the finger directly at Camilla and label her the mistress who caused this. Number 1, mental health concerns. Diana faced so many problems during her time as a working royal, it even took a toll on her mental health, causing bulimia among other health issues. Being Charles' second wife, who did not have the public approval of the same way Diana did, I think her transition into becoming queen consort is going to be easy for her considering the amount of people who still do not approve of her. Let's start off with number 10. Now that King Charles is living a king-size life, how can we pretend there aren't regal secrets he's keeping from us? After inheriting the properties from his mother, Queen Elizabeth, Charles has been getting a lot more attention, and obviously we're gonna dig into the English wealth and their secrets. For a regular British citizen, any inheritance over $380,000 is taxed 40%. But King Charles doesn't have to pay anything on properties, jewels, and investments that probably are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Whatever happened to eating the rich? The royal treatment is getting out of hand. Having all this money and privilege on top of not having to pay taxes, every day this family makes me wonder why I wasn't born a royal. But anyway, according to the British government, the monarchy as an institution needs sufficient private resources to enable it to continue to perform its traditional role in national life and to have a degree of financial independence from the government of the day. Am I the only one who feels like the British government is sucking up to the royals? Or is everyone in the UK in some trance? Because considering this extremely problematic family and their history, how are they getting away with all of this? It has to be a trance, right? Maybe that's what they're hiding from us. They might not even be royal. Maybe they just set up a whole castle and tranced the whole country just so they don't have to pay taxes. That's some brilliant work. The same document explains that the British Crown is also not legally liable for income tax or capital gains tax. Personally, I think the British people should overthrow the throne at this point because taxes shouldn't be reserved for regular citizens, but that's just me. Or what if they flipped and only taxed the extremely rich people? On to number 9, hiding details about their wealth. The royal family is under few requirements to disclose details of its wealth, but all I'm gonna say is if you want to find out, it's not too difficult to go all Sherlock Holmes on the family. The family's communications with the government are exempt from freedom of information requests. Their official papers are kept secret by Britain's National Archives for at least 50 years. The lack of transparency has led anti-monarchy groups, including the Republic, to call the monarchy an unaccountable public institution that has the power, secrecy, and influence to willfully abuse its position. Without a change, many details of the royal family's private wealth may never be known. Facts about the Duchy of Lancaster's offshore investments were leaked back in 2017. Those detailed roughly $13 million in offshore accounts. I wonder what else can be revealed if more docs were suddenly leaked. Seriously, we need some investigative work done on this family. Other reports have suggested questionable foreign dealings or arrangements. King Charles was accused of offering to help secure a knighthood for a Saudi national in response to a donation to his charitable foundation. Representatives of Charles denied any impropriety, but still sounds a little suspicious to me. On to number 8, disruption in the bloodline. Historically speaking, having a claim to the throne has been a big deal. Wars have been fought over who has the most right to rule, and even if it is less significant to everyday people, the royal family takes this very seriously. If they were not the legitimate heirs to the throne for some reason, then they'd be just regular folks who'd have to find a house to rent somewhere. If only. No one questions the legitimacy of the royal family, but there has been some potential for disruption thanks to DNA analysis of a body found in a parking lot. After King Richard III was struck down in battle in 1485, his body was laid to rest at Greyfriars Abbey. But a lot can happen in over 500 years, and the abbey, along with the king, were more or less forgotten, so much that his grave ended up being under an office building's parking lot. Other bodies had been discovered over the years on the property, and it was known to have once been the site of the abbey. During a DNA analysis to confirm his identity, it turned out to be Richard, but listen to this plot twist. The Y chromosomes in the DNA analysis don't match others in the royal line. Who's the imposter? So, quick biology lesson for you guys to help break this down. The maternal line was used to identify the remains of Richard, but if the Y chromosome passed down from the male side doesn't match, it means somewhere in the family line there may have been an affair. Someone at some time gave birth to a child not of the royal line or pretended the child was legit. That is the real English tea of the day. Drop in the comments who you think the imposter child was, because these theories could get interesting. Since we don't know when this affair may have occurred, there's no way to know when it affected the bloodline. So maybe the current royals are the real deal, or maybe they aren't. On to number 7, relative of Dracula. Ever so often, the ruling class gets compared to vampires for their habits of living off the people over whom they rule. So there were likely a few critics of the royal family, and King Charles in particular, who would be delighted to discover that the king is literally related to Dracula. If Hotel Transylvania makes a new movie, I know who they can incorporate into the plot. Or even better, have as a voice actor for a new character. Matter of fact, I should pitch this idea to Sony ASAP. In real life, Bram Stoker is believed to have based his famous vampire in part on Vlad Tepes. 15th century Romanian prince, Vlad earned himself the nickname Impaler due to his penchant for sticking enemies on sharp poles. So the story goes. His bloodlust was legendary enough to make him forever associated with history's greatest vampire. Fast forward to the present, and Prince Charles is a distant relative of the Romanian prince. He's Dracula's great-grandson 16 times removed. Prince Charles was apparently very stoked to learn this and has a soft spot for Transylvania, the region made famous by Dracula. So now I'm gonna have to explore my family tree to see if I'm related to any historic or iconic people. On to number 6, conspiracies. Word on the street is Jack the Ripper, one of history's most notorious assassins, may have been a royal. His identity was never determined, and even to this day, over a century later, people are trying to piece it together. But back in the day, one potential suspect was Prince Albert Victor. What is going on with this family? First Dracula, now Jack the Ripper. This royal family has some explaining to do because it is just getting out of hand. Another theory was that the British royal family wanted specific women taken out because they knew the prince had an illegitimate son. Neither of these theories had much of any evidence to support it, and they appeared nearly a century after the fact. The result is that it's almost entirely unlikely, but still something the royal family is not likely to ever openly address and would rather keep on the down low. Let me know if you think this theory is valid. I mean, the possibilities are endless, right? Number 5, traveling with blood. Celebrities really do the weirdest things ever, and we just accept it because, well, they're celebrities. But traveling with your own bag of blood is just a different level of weird. Even though their reasoning is not the craziest, you have to admit, adding a bag of blood to your travel checklist is just so bloody interesting. In case of emergencies, King Charles and Prince William travel with a sack of their own blood on hand. The royals travel with their physician and a bag of their own home brew in case of an emergency transfusion. For a good portion of her busier years, the Queen was making about one state visit per year, but Prince William was a bit more widely traveled. Blood only has a shelf life of about 42 days after it's been bagged up, so they were probably getting fresh stuff before each and every trip. That's a lot of needlework. I wonder what they would have done if someone had a serious fear of needles. On to number 4, Princess Diana's letter. Paul, one of Diana's former butlers, said that the princess predicted her own passing in a car crash. Apparently, she was so scared 10 months before she passed that she wrote to Paul saying that there was a plot made by a member of the royal family and that her car brakes would be tampered with and she would suffer serious head injuries. And all of this would be so that the Prince of Wales could marry again. The letter she wrote, "I am sitting here at my desk today in October, longing for someone to hug me and encourage me to keep strong and hold my head high. This particular phase in my life is the most dangerous. My husband is planning an accident in my car, brake failure and serious head injury in order to make the path clear for him to marry Camilla, who is nothing but a decoy." So what did they do with this letter? Well, they keep it in a very safe place. Will Charles ever elaborate on this super suspicious letter? Most likely not, but we do need the answers. Number 3, privilege. I mean, that's no secret, but can we talk about King Charles's privilege? Being a rich white man is one thing, but add royal into the mix, and he really was set for life. Becoming king after the late Queen Elizabeth's impressive 70-year reign is definitely a privilege, and King Charles is very careful about his lifestyle and what he chooses to show with us regular folk and what is kept behind closed doors. There's one place that His Majesty can likely be found, on his hands and knees in his personal Highgrove house gardens. The garden at Highgrove really does spring from my heart, and strange as it may seem to some, creating it has been rather like a form of worship, the royals said in 1993. Since purchasing the property surrounding his historic 18th century country house in 1980, Charles has transformed the wilted 900 acres of lawn into a paradise with around 40,000 visitors a year. On to number 2, jealousy. During his marriage to Princess Diana, Charles had his first significant encounter with disapproving public opinion. Archival footage of the couple touring Australia in the new HBO documentary The Princess suggests that he was jealous of how much more popular she was. The real-life Diana confirmed that Charles envied the public's devotion to his wife in her explosive 1995 interview with the BBC's Martin Bashir. The pressure on both of us as a couple with the media was phenomenal and misunderstood by a great many people, she said. We'd be going around Australia, for instance, and all you could hear was, "Oh, she's on the other side." Diana subsequently clarified that the waiting crowds were expressing their disappointment that Charles was closer to them rather than Diana. Someone close to you acting out of jealousy towards you is never fun, and considering he was a future king at the time, I'm sure that hurt his ego even though it shouldn't have. He should have been proud of how publicly accepted his future queen was, but I guess not everyone, even a whole king, likes to see other people winning, right? And finally, number 1, making or costing money. There's one question that many have wondered. Do the royals cost the government money or do they make it money? Well, for one, the royals draw tourist dollars as well as publicity for Britain. In 2017, a valuation company called Brand Finance estimated that the monarch boosted the tourism sector by the equivalent of more than $640 million. And while the sovereign grant has been growing, which means more money for the royals, the Crown Estate provides a huge sum of money to the government. Anti-monarchy groups don't really think the royal family brings in money, a figment of the spin doctor's imagination, they say. These groups might be onto something since they suspect that the monarchy actually costs the country about $400 million a year. McClure, the expert on the royals, has estimated the government's cost to protect the family at well over $100 million annually. Reports in the British press have suggested that King Charles, a conservationist by nature, hopes to slim down the monarchy with fewer senior royals involved in public engagements. He has also talked about opening up more royal properties to the public, a move that could theoretically bring in more revenue. I can see how this might be a smart business move, but I still do think the anti-monarchy groups might be onto something.